Even though there may be a shortage on quarterbacks, there certainly is not a shortage of talented players who can catch the ball and score touchdowns. When we evaluate it on a team-by-team basis, however, we're looking for the best team in the nation. It was the best wide receiving core in the country. Barrett, Sallee, who you got?
I got Texas A&M, and everyone knows about Josh Reynolds. Everyone has heard about Ricky Seals-Jones and the matchup nightmares he presents. Speedy Noyle burst on the scene last year as a true freshman. Now he's got to get out of the doghouse, which is always step one in getting past that potential sophomore slump. But then a guy like Christian Kirk added to the mix as a true freshman early enrollee. Kevin Sumlin and quarterback Kyle Allen, they have wealth everywhere, all across the board at wide receiver. I love Texas A&M's wide receivers, and they're going to be a big reason why this Texas A&M offense leads the Aggies back into contention in the SEC West in 2015.
Yeah, for me, I go with the Clemson Tigers. Let's start out with Mike Williams, a guy that went over 1,000 yards last year when it came to receiving, 6 touchdowns. Throw in Artavis Scott, who really blew up, over 900 yards, 965 to be exact, 76 catches, was a favorite target for those Clemson quarterbacks. And let's look at the fact that these guys don't throw the football to themselves. Deshaun Watson coming in as one of the better quarterbacks. He's going to be healthy. He's going to be the guy, and that brings stability at the quarterback spot. I look around, that's 133 catches between these two guys. You throw in Jermone Hopper, 27 catches a year ago, 3 touchdowns in the mix. He's another piece to the wide receiving group. Deon Cain comes into the mix as a guy that's extremely polished as a high school quarterback. He's ready to make that transition to wide receiver. He knows what he's doing. Look, there were guys that were a little bit more productive in terms of duos. Baylor's one that comes to mind, but they don't have the stability at the quarterback that Deshaun Watson helps give the Clemson Tigers. And for that reason, with Williams, Scott, Hopper, Cain, I think they have the best group in the country.
Mike, I was close to picking Clemson. That was my 1A. But you mentioned the team that I'm picking, which is Baylor. Now, I love the two they have at the top. Corey Coleman, you talk to Kendall Bryce, the offensive coordinator. He just marvels at the way he catches the football. Katie Cannon, a guy that I know we all three of us like heading into last year, one of the best true freshmen in the country, went over 1,000 yards, despite the fact that he had some games where it really wasn't a factor. Then we saw him go for 194 in the bowl game against Michigan State, and man, can he take a top off the defense. It's a system, but it's a system that works. These aren't just players just plugging in. These are really talented players. Also like a guy like Jay Lee, the senior, who has played a factor in the offense, went for more than 600 yards last year. He's going to play a little bit more of a factor. Davion Hall, a guy that's going to get more reps. They've got players for days. They have so many players that Antoine Goodley, who was so good for them 2 years ago, was just sort of pushed out of the rotation at least somewhat last year. I love what Baylor does. I think they'll be fine with Seth Russell at quarterback, and I think these wide receivers should just continue to run by.
Kanye, you join us today to be recognized for your transformative, genre-defining work across music, performance, film, and fashion design. Your visionary and ambitious career is a true reflection of the creative spirit. So, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Governors of the School of the Arts Institute of Chicago and the Board of